The Gothic Times, an NJCU student-run newspaper, was first published on May 15, 1941. At that time, the paper was called Tower Times. The Times' first editor was Chief James Waters. It was published once a month. It was because of this publication that classes in journalism were instituted at NJCU. Throughout the years, the name was changed several times, from Tower Times, The Examiner, and finally to what it is today, The Gothic Times.
My first impression of the Gothic Times was that it has an amazing history. The first issue that we could find goes back to like 1942, I think, and we're in the process now of trying to archive those. So it's got this long history of publishing, which is really great. And also I saw that there was a lot of potential for what could happen with the paper in terms of maximizing online, what we're doing on the internet, using social media, publishing more, and from there on out, maybe putting video online and podcasting.
I think a lot of people feel that journalism chooses them. If you like to write, if you like to read, if you care about the quality of civic discourse, if you are the kind of person who argues politics with your friends or movies or has strong feelings about any issue, journalism is the natural outlet for you to go to. It's an opportunity for you to take the things that matter to you and find out if they matter to other people.
Oh, why did I become a journalist? My dad ran a hardware store, and to kill time between customers, he used to read newspapers. He read 6 or 7 newspapers a day. It's back in the 1950s. And then I would go from school, on the way home walking, I passed his hardware store, and I'd stop there every day. And while he was waiting on customers, I'd read his newspapers. And I was 6 or 7 years old, and I just wanted to be a journalist. I had to do that in my life. It's the only thing I ever wanted to do, and I got to do it, so I'm thrilled.
What happened at school is that I got very upset about something that was happening on the campus. I thought that our curriculum was really out of date, and I decided to write about it, and I ended up finding out that it wasn't just the English department that had an outdated curriculum. The theater department also had an outdated curriculum. I wrote a story about it, and then after that was published, I was asked to consider being editor of one of the student papers at UCLA. And to walk across campus and see people reading the story, it was an amazing impact that I could have on this mass student body. And I got hooked, and I became the editor, and basically changed my life.
The process that goes into making this newspaper what it is really by having the editors as well as the reporters pitch an idea. Once the ideas are pitched, they're thrown onto a board, and the editors as well as the reporters debate whether or not these stories are important. Depending on how important the stories are will determine whether or not the stories will actually be printed online and in print. Afterwards, stories are then assigned, and then they're written. Once the stories are written and completed, they're sent through a process of editing, so the stories will be sent to their editors of each section. For each section, editing is done. Once the editing is complete, these editors will then send the bulk of their stories to the editor-in-chief, who does another set of editing. And afterwards, they're sent to the Daily News. And then after that, we get printed, and the papers end up on campus.
I learned enough to get an internship with the Jersey Journal. That was my first internship at a newspaper. And so I started there, and at that point, I learned about actually going out and reporting on stories. And then after that, I got an internship with Fox News at the assignment desk. And now I'm at ABC at Channel 7 in the investigative unit.
When people look at a school newspaper and they see that somebody is the faculty advisor, I don't think they understand how enriched the advisor becomes from his relationships with the students on the paper. The advisor teaches people on the paper a lot, but people on the paper teach them a lot too. And that's what I enjoy the most, meeting all the hundreds of students who are writers and editors, and everything that I learned from them about their life as a student.
Journalism isn't really interested in your academic pedigree. They want to know, can you write? Can you report? Can you edit? And being at the Gothic Times, that's what you do. It's not a class, even though you learn as much or more than you would in a class, but it is the real world. It's journalism. We're producing a newspaper just like they're producing the Jersey Journal or the New York Times or the New York Daily News.
We've started to attract more and more people. We've started to attract media arts majors, philosophy majors, people majoring in all kinds of things, still have media skills that they can bring. So we need to bring in more students from the campus, people that can write and draw, illustrators. We need graphic designers because we're constantly doing promotional stuff, and we need things for the newspaper, to do our own kinds of illustrations, to do cartoons. And then we need people that are savvy about the web, so people that can produce stuff for the web, shoot video for the web, really maximize social media to spread the word both about our content and the fact that we're here.
Journalism is one of the few places left in our society where we can see the results of committed individual action. If a person looks at something in the world and says, this is wrong, this shouldn't stand, people need to know about this, that journalist, armed only with a pen and a conscience, can make a profound difference in the world.